Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zo. Cantu is on the other side. We got another late episode tonight, but hey, we're going to get through it, grind it out, all that good stuff because baseball is back, Angel. Baseball is fucking back.
Absolutely. The Super Bowl's done with. Right now, it's all about spring training, hearing the balls touch the mitts, the sound it makes, and everything good. Everything good comes with baseball.
What do you think of
Oh,
I was going to
uh,
say real quick, what do you think of the Super Bowl performance?
it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I think it was. I mean, I think Kendrick Lamar just did what Kendrick Lamar does.
133, I think, million views. I think it beat Michael Jackson's
Oh wow.
Super Bowl halftime performance, which is pretty cool. But in my opinion, I think it could have been better. I think it could have been a little longer. There were some songs I was looking for the OG songs, man. I just
Oh,
didn't get
absolutely.
none of them OG songs, which I understand the new hits with Not Like
So
Us, Squabble, all them good songs.
so
I mean, he makes some good music though.
some swimming pool action.
I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Good,
saying, I'm saying.
good kid, Mass City making a little comeback.
But the Houstonian, the Channelview, Texas native, Jalen Hurts came back in this second one against Patrick Mahomes and obviously won it. That man, it was a halftime. It was already blown out. It was like 24-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the game was over at halftime, but I think Jalen Hurts did America a favor there by beating the Kansas City Chiefs and avoiding uh the the 3P for them. And I think the biggest headline was honestly the refs on that end. I think they heard what America was thinking and they kind of laid back a little bit and just let the teams play.
Yeah, it was a competitive Super Bowl from not the start, but like in the second half, it got a little bit better. There was a meme out there that had because the Chiefs did score 22, and they're like, oh, they're honoring the score for Taylor Swift because of her song in 22. But yeah, congrats to Jalen Hurts. Football is officially over, and now the
also
baseball season is here
also Texas Aggie Brandon Mann, punter, Super Bowl champion.
for the brand.
Yeah.
For the brand, but nobody wants to talk about football because baseball season is back. Astros head to West Palm Beach is going to be our title because pitchers and catchers report tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow. Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
February 13. I
No,
have it
it's
wrong.
a few days.
Yeah, February 13. Pitchers and catchers report on Thursday. The first full squad workout is going to be on Tuesday, February 18th. So more than likely, all the pitchers and catchers. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the players on the field are going to be there, like regardless. Because if
Hmm.
you see some other teams like Cubs, the Mariners, the Yankees, they got some of their players already out there doing some training.
Absolutely, a bunch of these players live live around baseball. That's all what they cater to. So, them they're gonna try to get the early spring for Phils because as a big saying is you should come into spring training fit and ready to go, not get fit and ready to go in spring training. So these guys are ready and ready to tackle the new season.
We're gonna go through this because I feel like I just
Yeah,
sound like a broken record. Pitchers and catchers report Thursday, February 13. First full workout is going to be on Tuesday, February 18. So the next time we record, you're probably going to hear us talk a little bit more about the positional players. 63 players are on the preliminary spring training roster. The roster hasn't been fully set yet, but that's what we got so far. 23 non-roster invitees, including the number one prospect in Cam Smith, Jacob Melton, Brice Matthews. I had talked about Cam Smith being the number one top prospects in the Astros farm system, number 33, if I'm not mistaken, on Baseball America. Jacob Melton's probably going to get his major league debut. I wouldn't be surprised in the middle of the season. Great left-handed bat, a lot of contact up the middle the other way, some range in the outfield as well as a good, decent arm. And Brice Matthews, and this is another guy I wouldn't be surprised him making his major league debut, maybe in the later part of the season, but he's going to get work at second base with Jose Altuve. Obviously, we've already seen what that's going to look like. Altuve is going to be playing a lot. I wouldn't say a lot yet. We don't know what the games are going to be for him, but he's going to play some games in left field because Jordan Alvarez less than 50 games in that corner. Angel, you want to add on anything because I think I'm out of breath. Shit.
yeah, my bad. I think there was a long pause where we couldn't hear. But I don't know how long you went through, but I do agree with you on Bryce Matthews seeing some action this year. If you would have told me late last season, I would have told you you're crazy just because you have Jose Altuve there and there's no room for him. But the fact that Jose Altuve is going to be playing a little bit left field kind of opens the door. Because I know we've had conversations before off air about what do you do with Brice Matthews, because he's kind of blocked. Because, you had Bregman and they're trying to reach a long-term deal there, but now you got Isaac Paredes for 3 years. Jeremy Pena is still young at short. And now there's this opportunity in second base with, Jose Altuve kind of getting this expanded role on defense. So, yeah, I mean, I like what we've seen so far. Cam Smith, Brice Matthews. I'm going to hold up to mention a bit of Jacob Melton in a bit, but I think these are some great young prospects that you'll probably see sooner rather than later for the Astros. You're on mute, Zo.
Shit, I'm just not on the road today. But Dana Brown did mention he's really a quote-unquote aircraft carrier. I don't know what that particularly means in the dictionary, but this kid has a lot of great stuff. 5-tool kind of player, athletic build. He said more than likely he's going to be working with Isaac Paredes at third base, but don't be surprised if he gets some work in the outfield just because of the Astros outfield as of right now. You got Jake Myers, you got Chas McCormick, Yordan Alvarez, Taylor Trammell, and Ben Gamel. So there's opportunities there. But at this moment, I think more than likely you're going to see Cam Smith work at third base. Wouldn't be surprised he's in AAA to begin the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
hot take there. Would you be surprised if Cam Smith also starts getting a little playing time at second base and kind of a little battle between Cam Smith and Brice Matthews there?
I don't think necessarily I would say that. I think I'd rather leave him at third base because Brice Matthews is already at second base. Excuse me, with the trend right now, with the Alex Bregman news, which we'll hit that later on. We're not going to talk much about it because it's really the same old. But you're moving Jose Altuve to left. Who's going to be your infielders? As of right now, you look like you could put Mauricio Dubon right there. And you got Luis Guillorme as well. Guillorme is a veteran player that's played in the majors 9 years. But I think, in my personal opinion, if Brice Matthews continues to play like how he played in Puerto Rico, then I give Matthews a shot, then give Guillorme. Nothing against Guillorme, veteran player, like I mentioned, but you see the talent right there with Brice Matthews that was picked in the first round in 2023.
Okay. I mean, again, a lot of opportunity, but yeah, for sure.
Next up, we're going to talk about this opening day roster. Like I've mentioned, if I cut out throughout this whole shit, I'm going to have to refix everything. But the opening day roster, it's 26-man roster. We're going to just predict it as of right now. We're not saying that this is what we're going to finalize. This is just a prediction as of today. So your starting pitchers, I think me and you could agree on, Angel. Framber Valdez, Hunter Brown, Ronel Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, Hayden Wesneski.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll have the debate on the relief pitchers here in a moment, but infielders, you got Yainer Diaz, you got Victor Caratini, Christian Walker, Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, Isaac Paredes, Mauricio Dubon, John Singleton. I think that's finalized as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, how about this? I'm not too sure of John Singleton right now.
And why is that?
I'm going to explain a little bit. Okay. Just because you have Yainer Diaz isn't get the majority of the time at catchers, kind of platooning a little bit with Victor Caratini. When one of them is not catching, obviously Christian Walker is going to be the majority of first base. But when Chris Walker needs a day off, you have the luxury of having Caratini or Diaz play first base in one of those games. And instead of John Singleton, I think it'll be an outfielder. So maybe Ben Gamel, Taylor Trammell, Zach DeSanto, an outfielder who can kind of help out with. Sorry, infielders. Sorry, I just completely missed it. I'm off. Sorry. Move on. Sorry.
So you're good with the infielders.
Yeah, I'm good with the infielders.
When the hell do you see John Singleton?
I know. I'm bad. At least, yeah, I'm bad. I'm tripping too. You know what? Let me start recording earlier.
Anyway, outfielders real quick. Chas McCormick, Jake Myers, Yordan Alvarez, Zach DeZenzo, Ben Gamel, Taylor Trammell.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
We agree with that. Okay, this is where it gets dicey right here. We've named 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've named 18 players and yet to hit on the relief pitchers. Like I mentioned before, 26-man roster. That's how much you can carry onto the opening day. Josh Hader, Bryan Abreu, and Taylor Scott. I'm putting them in the safe side for relief pitchers, at least in that bullpen.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, you say the same thing. So there goes 21. Now we have to add 5 more relief pitchers. You want to go ahead and give us your 5 that you see in the bullpen?
Yeah, I would say Rafael Montero gets the shot there just because they are paying him a lot of money. Pitched pretty good in the Dominican Winter League. Was a closer for his team. Uh, Ended up getting a save in the final too. So I can see him getting there. Caleb Ort is another one that saw some action last year that seems like the Astros really like. Brian King just because he's a lefty. Forrest Whitley is a guy I see stepping up this year. And a guy that has caught my attention this whole offseason that guys like Dana Brown has been kind of saying his name a lot is Ryan Gusto. I know he's a starter, but I think him seeing some action off the bench can really go beneficial with his development. They like his stuff. I think he's young. He throws really fast. I think he's the really guy that could be in the bullpen this year.
Okay. Ryan Gusto, starter, but you can see him in the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, that was the name for Ronel Blanco too. He started off the bullpen, kind of platooning there between starter and rotation. Now he's doing really good there.
Nice. Now I was looking right now for Ronel Blanco in the Dominican Winter League. 0-1 record with a 6 ERA. He pitched 3 games, 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, and 1 walk with 3 strikeouts. I feel like that's off. If I'm not mistaken, I thought he pitched more than 3 games, but that's what Baseball Reference has right now. I could be completely wrong. But I'm going to agree with you with Rafael Montero. I think the Astros spend all that money on a guy like that, and I don't think they're going to DFA another guy that's a dead cap money like Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
So Rafael Montero went to the Dominican Winter League, worked on some stuff, maybe some mechanics, all that type of stuff. Get some innings of pitching and throwing live BP to some hitters. So I'm going to go with him as well. Caleb Ort's another guy. I agree with you. I think his stuff is really nasty. His sweeper is really good. The velocity on his fastball is really like it's a rising fastball. It has some good break on his 2-seam as well. Brian King's another one. I think you got to have a lefty in that bullpen as well. And he didn't do really bad last year for the Astros when they needed a guy that eat up some innings. Bennett Sousa, I'm leaning towards putting him in here, honestly.
Okay.
He had a really good season in 22 and that tail end of whenever the Astros were trying to reach that postseason. And obviously he got injured. He didn't pitch in 23 either. So Bennett Sousa could be a guy to look at. My last one I'm going to put on is Forrest Whitley. The Astros are looking for this Forrest Whitley that was the top-rated prospect in high school. The guy that had the stuff, sweeper, changeup, curve, fastball, all them type of pitches in his arsenal. They're looking for him to step up this year because there are no more options, if I'm not mistaken, in his contract. I think if the Astros decide to not do away with him, he's going to go DFA or clear or hit the waivers.
Yeah.
So this is like a make and break year for him. He did pitch a little bit last year with the Astros. Didn't do bad either. I think he can have a pivotal role, especially that Houston doesn't have a 7 guy. They don't got that guy to hold it because you got a holder, you got a setup man, and you got a closer. You already got your closer. You already got your setup man with Abreu and Hader. 7 is really wide open to anybody that wants to take it. And Forrest Whitley has some good stuff. I think if I had to choose between him and I would even say Caleb Ort, man, because Caleb Ort has some good stuff as well. And I think I would choose, as of right now, I think I'd choose Ort over Whitley. Just going into spring training, Whitley has to show and prove what he can do as a reliever.
All these guys do, honestly. As we're saying this, you're kind of looking, it's like, wow, this is a much different bullpen than what you've seen in the past from the Astros. The thing is young. All of these players are young. Bryan Abreu is young. Gusto, Forrest Whitley, Brian King, like all of these guys are young with a lot of proof, and I think that's what you're going to be seeing in spring training. A lot of friendly competition, trying to one up the other, because at the end of the day, you're competing for 4 or 5 spots that we just listed here, and I think it's gonna be fun. So when these televised games are on spring training, or you go to spring training, but take a look at those relief pitchers. Like they're gonna get every opportunity to earn their place, and it's honestly it all depends who can throw strikes with command. And I think
Yeah.
experience goes a long way. So I think maybe like a guy like Brian Key may have a leg up on Forrest Whitley, or a guy like Caleb Ward who kind of touched the major league mound last year too. So I mean, it's just all about friendly competition who can throw strikes. But it's gonna be a fun little competition there to see.
Yeah, because they don't got guys like Hector Neris, they don't got guys like Kendall Graveman. Those two guys are usually your best pitchers to put up in that 7 spot or that 8 spot. Like if Ryan Presley needed a day off, I mean, you'd put Bryan Abreu there, vice versa. Hector Neris would go in one of those days. You had a lot of options to go to as a veteran presence, but now you're bringing guys like Forrest Whitley that doesn't really have that postseason experience compared to Hector Neris and Ryan Presley, and then the other guys. The same goes for Caleb Bohr. Same goes for Ryan Gusto, like you were mentioning. So all these spots are open, and really, it's all internal candidates, like Dana Brown mentioned. Like if it's not going to be on the market, we're going to stick with our internal gut. And Dana Brown has done a good job too with these minor league contracts. So don't sleep on a guy like Miguel Castro heading into spring training, because remind yourselves, Taylor Scott was a minor league contract player last year. And look what he produced for the Astros in that first half of the season. Really, even the second half. Second half, he kind of like started to tail down a little bit. But that first half, he was just remarkable and unstoppable on the mound.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Astros are hopeful that this works out for them, that they can rely on these young guys with high velocity stuff. But if it doesn't work out, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move near the trade deadline for either one or two relievers to kind of bolster that bullpen up.
Yeah, so we'll have to see on how that's going to be. Like we said, this is our opening day prediction roster as of right now before the boys step onto the dirt, onto the mounds, to basically step into the facility. Let us know in the comments what you think, who should be getting into that bullpen mix, or even in the infield, outfield, relievers, starters, whatever you want to put on your list. Let us know in the comments which guys you would want to put in your bullpen or on this 26-man roster. Angel, we have 3 important questions heading into West Palm Beach spring training. I'm going to give you these 3 questions. 1, what are we expecting this spring training? 2, who do you want to see take a leap forward into this season? And 3, who's going to be your surprise player this upcoming season?
Okay. And for the first one, what are you expecting this spring training? Like, is it kind of like some hot takes, or like what do I want to see?
Just anything, growth, development. You could just say a hot take as well if you want to, stuff like
that. I guess start with an easy one. I think in this spring training, Jose Altuve will be playing a lot of left field just to get comfortable with that position. He's been playing second base his entire career, so getting all the reps, live ball pitch, live ball off the bat, reads off in left field will be beneficial. I will say I think he will play more left field than second base in spring training. Now in the regular season that can be different. I can see him playing a lot more second base than left field, but I think spring training, the games don't count. It's all about getting your routine right, your read right. So I think he'll be playing a little bit more left field there. Also, I think Zach DeZenzo makes a statement in the outfield too. Like you were saying, like you've been big on him playing in the outfild. He was playing outfield in the Puerto Rican Winter League, like you were mentioning there too. So I think he'll get the majority of the reps there in the outfield.
Yeah, I agree with that Zach DeZenzo one, but instead of doing a individual player, I'm going to go with more of a team asset. I'm going to go focus more on the bigger picture. And what I'm expecting this spring training for the Astros is going to be more than likely on the infield. I would like to see this defense step up and be that 2022 or 2021, one of those years. They were one of the best defenses in the American League. I think they even won the defensive award as a team in the infield in the AL in 21 or 22. I don't have it in the top of my head, but that's why I'm looking forward to this spring training. Tony Perez-Chica being a new third base coach, a new infield coordinator, working with these guys. You're going to have new teammates. Christian Walker at first base. He got Isaac Paredes at third base. Different players in the hot corner. Of course, he still got Jose Altuve playing second. And you got Jeremy Pena at shortstop. Jeremy Pena, Gold Glove winner. in 22. First rookie to win that award ever, which is crazy because we've had some amazing shortstops come through this league. And I'm looking for him to bolster up his defense. He's very athletic. He has a good build. Has a ton of range as well. So, of course, getting him back on track. Of course, Altuve's fielding run value. We've talked about that maybe episode ago. It hasn't been the best since 2019. Of course, he's starting to age, and like Angel had mentioned, he's going to be playing a little bit more left field now. Still, we can still develop. We can still get better as an individual, as an athlete. I know Altuve being one of those guys too, hard worker. I can see him taking a big step in his defense. Christian Walker, this is a hot take. He's going to be the new leader of this clubhouse, just like that, just straight up.
Okay.
Because they've talked highly about him over there in Arizona, loved him in the clubhouse over there with the Diamondbacks. So I can see him bringing that leadership from Arizona to Houston, even though they're going to miss Bregman being with this team and Isaac Paredes. And we've talked about him. He's an average infielder. He's an average defender. But like I said, with a guy like this, that's helped get guys like Gold Glove finalists, Gold Glove awards. I can see Isaac Paredes taking a big step and become an above average defender with a positive fielding run value, not making so many errors. I don't have his error chart right in front of me, but he's a guy I think that can work out. But overall, as a defense, I think the Astros are going to be stronger in that category.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Thinking big picture too, to join you there. I think this Astros team will continue being aggressive, especially on the base path. Last year was a big leap of like the increased number of stolen bases, of taking that extra base. I think that's what we will continue to see and expect from the Astros.
Most definitely. You want to go ahead and tell us who's going to be that player? Who's going to be? It could even be a coach that's going to take a leap forward going into 25.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback on you there because I had already planned for that question. Who do I expect to leap forward? Be Jeremy Pena on the defensive side. He did a really great job of kind of picking up his offensive numbers last year, using his legs a little bit more to beat out those infield hits. Just kind of hit those little like swinging bunts or hit the low gaps there. So he did a really good job offensively. However, his defense kind of lagged behind late in the year. But like you said, with the addition towards Paris Cheek, I think that will improve. I can see Jeremy Pena competing for the Gold Glove this year too, and no better way to practice what you got in spring training. So I think that's what I expect there. Another player to take a leap forward, I'm gonna say Forrest Whitley. I think it's his time. This is, I think, I don't want to say it's final, but it's close to be, the end of the road.
It's kind of like a make or break year, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think if he doesn't do it this year, then I don't see him doing it at all. So it's his opportunity. If I were him, I would use spring training to get as much knowledge as you can. You have a guy like Josh Hader who's done this so many years before. You have a guy like Bryan Abreu who has shown he can be a great reliever. I think learning as much of those guys and trying to be the next person to lead this bullpen.
Yeah, the starting job really didn't help him, but reliever, at least in AAA, he hasn't done bad. The injuries, I don't think injuries were a big factor for him last season either. I could be wrong. I don't have like his injury chart right in front of me, but that's a guy that I think most Astro fans would probably want to see take that leap forward, take that next step, and kind of contributing into this bullpen, into this, quote unquote golden era of Astros baseball. But I'm going to stay with a guy that's done a really good job with Houston through not really his time here, but Chas McCormick, awful season last year, period. There's no sugarcoating that. It was just plain simple, negative 0.6 WAR, 211 batting average, 271 on base percentage, 306 slugging, 66 OPS plus. That is not what you want to see from Chas McCormick. And, in 23, man, he was a guy that was raking 2020 guy, 22 home runs, 20 stolen bases. Oh, no, 19 stolen bases. My fault. I thought he had 20. But, I mean, he was close to that 2020 mark, 110 hits, 17 doubles, 2 triples, 70 RBIs. This is a guy that you really need to step up this upcoming season. Last season, we don't know. Like, I don't know personally if he had played with an injury throughout the whole season or it was just more of a mental thing. I know back in September, whenever he didn't get optioned down to AAA and then came back up, I had a conversation with him, and he said just mentally preparing himself, thinking more, just flowing all that type of stuff, because this is a mental game, man. This ain't just all about power and muscle hitting the damn ball. It's all about in your head as well. So I'm looking forward for Chas McCormick to take that leap forward, because right now in the outfield, if you want to count Yordan Alvarez, go ahead and count him. Who else do you have that's going to hit really well? And not even putting Jose Altuve in that list. You got Jake Myers. We have Ben Gamble. You have Taylor Trammell. Who's going to be that guy? Kyle Tucker was that guy for Houston. Who's it going to be? Someone has to step up. And I think Chas McCormick having this offseason to relax, recover from an injury as well. He did have that surgery during that September run. So I think this is a big leap for him this upcoming season. Hot take, I think he does get 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases.
If that were to happen, because I'm looking at his stats right now, because again, since he came up 14 home runs his rookie year, 14 again, 22, and then took a leap forward, like you said, 22 and 23. If Chas McCormick could be a 2020 guy, like you're predicting, I think Daniel Brown will kind of look like a genius trading Kyle Tucker, because he got a big haul for him, and then kind of trusting Chas McCormick to kind of not replace but have a good season in the wake of this, Tucker trade. I think that'll be, kind of the fans will appreciate more the trade of Kyle Tucker, knowing that they have a guy like Chas that can kind of fill in that gap there.
I think necessarily, though, I think that trade was regardlessly going to happen, just for the fact that the Juan Soto market was how it was this upcoming this past offseason. And now going into the upcoming offseason past 25, I mean, Kyle Tucker's going to get freaking paid. And as of right now, you can see with the Bregman talks, from all the other past Astros that hit free agency, I just don't see it in the Jim Crane era that he's going to get what Kyle Tucker would want. But this is kind of just like a motivational thing for Chas, though. If you're going into this season knowing that you're starting now every day in right field, more than likely, in my opinion, I think he's going to start majority of the games in right field, if not right and left. This is your time to step up and show hey, I could go back into that season form that I was in 23. That's insane. 22 home runs and 70 RBIs. He had a 130 OPS plus, slugged 489. Them were career numbers that season.
Yeah, his OPS. Sorry, go ahead.
No, can he surpass that? That's going to be the question mark.
Yeah, just to piggyback, OPS of 842. The average is in the 700s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, phenomenal season there, and that's what the Astros are hoping to get. I mean, maybe he was playing for an injury, like you were saying. We don't know, but he's shown his glimpse that he can do it, and it's just a matter of adjusting. I think what he did that year is in 22, he struggled hitting the slider. So what he did, he adjusted to it and started hitting the slider a lot better in 2023, and then it just kind of went, like you said, downhill in 2024. So it'll be interesting to see that change. But I think he can do it. It's just a matter of will he?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest question mark, because Jake Myers, you can even say the same thing for Jake Myers too. Who, somebody has to step up in that outfield. Yordan Alvarez can't be the only offensive outfielder out there. Somebody else has to kind of step up and contribute. You can't have these kind of subpar monthly splits of one something, $120, $135. No, you got to be consistent. And somebody has to be consistent in that offensive category in the outfield. If it works out with being Ben Gamble, if it works out being for Taylor Trammell, or if Mauricio Dubon plays a little bit more outfield than the infield, then by all means. But if I'm looking at this roster right in front of me and you're the main guy in the outfield, you would want that guy to be successful in that position, especially in the offensive categories like those two guys.
Absolutely. So.
But last but not least, before we move on from the opening day roster, surprising player this upcoming season. Who do you think will be that surprise guy going into 25 at Cantu Park?
I think for me, it's Jacob Melton. He makes his presence known for the Astros organization. I mean, highly regarded prospect. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with Chas, so there could be a door opening there for him there. I know he has a little competition with Dubon, with Trammell, Ben Gamble too. But I think if he can have a good spring, be he might make the Astros have a tough decision to make in March, like going into the season. But I think him hitting, playing good defense, I think he could slowly but surely make the major league roster.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the number one guy before Cam Smith got here. Obviously, Cam Smith got here. He's already at number one, which is insane, but it just shows how depleted this farm system is. And that's a guy that you have to give him a chance. It's like the Pedro Leones, for instance. They gave him a chance last season. It wasn't a lot of games that he played. They didn't give him a shot, like maybe like 2 or 3 series, but that didn't play out. Maybe Pedro Leon does play with the Astros this upcoming season a little bit more, gets a little bit more action as well on the field. But Jacob Melton's a guy that's been highly regarded as the number one guy in this farm system, man. Like you said, makes his presence known. Show them why you're the number one guy before Cam Smith got there.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
Right now I don't got nothing on me, but I'm looking and I'm just going down the list. I'm gonna go with Spencer Arrighetti. I haven't said a pitcher yet. I think this is a guy that's gonna make a big leap. Even though I did say leap forward for who's gonna take that one, I'm gonna say the surprising player for this upcoming season, because right now the Astros starting rotation, you got Brown, Valdez, Blanco, and Wisniewski. Blanco had a good season. Is Blanco going to be the same Renault Blanco from last year? Another big question mark. We don't know, because this is going into a second full season. A lot of teams are going to go look and do their research and see where they can hit them better. We don't know. Framber Valdez, one of the best pitchers in the game since 2020. Hunter Brown kind of solidified himself as that number 2 guy and potentially the ace of this staff. So them 2 guys are just right there where it's at. Wisniewski, we'll just have to see what he looks at spring training, but more than likely he's going to be that number 5 starter in this back end of the rotation. Spencer Arrighetti, homegrown talent, the boy from New Mexico, went to Louisiana Lafayette, played at TCU, JUCO bandit as well. I'm looking for this guy to make a big mark this upcoming season, being the guy with that strikeout per 9 innings, man. I mean, that insane run he had in August is mind-blowing. Rookie pitcher of the month or rookie player of the month, whatever the hell it was. He dominated playoff teams. Boston Red Sox had a good team. The Philadelphia Phillies, he almost no-hit both them teams.
Okay.
So, he has that confidence. He has that cockiness, potential, all that type of stuff to be one of the best pitchers in this game. So that's why I'm looking forward for him this season. He's going to be that surprise player for me that I think he'll be that number 3 starter if the season ends.
Okay, I can see that. Because
right now, the rotation, Luis Garcia is not coming back yet opening day. Same goes for Lance McCullers Jr. JP France is probably not going to come back until All-Star week. Same goes for Christian Javier. So your opportunity is right there right now. So show that you can be the back end. You can be more than just a back end starter.
Absolutely, because once those guys come back, most of the guys are going to return back to rotation. So it's, what makes you stand out more? Don't make the Astros drop you down to the bullpen or back to AAA. If you're pitching well, they're going to keep you in there. They're going to find a way.
If you're hot, you're hot. There's no way in hell that you're going to be down on the list if you're not. If you're pitching well, you're going to be on top of that damn list.
I would say once Christian Javier goes back, though, looking at that starting rotation, I would say Renault Blanco goes to the bullpen.
I can see that. But explain yourself, though.
I just think he's the guy to do it. Last year, you saw him pitch great right off the start, and then later on in the season, kind of fatigue, kind of hit. You saw him getting hit a lot more. And he's the guy that's been experiencing that prior to last year. He's the guy that's been flip-flopped back and forth between rotation and bullpen. I think he's a guy that can handle that. Doesn't matter where he's at in the bullpen or starting. I think he'll do his job. So I think that's one of the guys that make an easy choice. Now, that's when Christian Javier comes back. Now, when you have Lance McCullers coming back, JP France, I think JP France will honestly be the odd man out. I don't see him in the rotation unless it's in AAA or in the bullpen. But I think once Lance McCullers comes out, that's going to be a tough decision if the Astros are going to have to decision there in saying, you're paying Nathan Cutters this money. Is he going to be a starter or back in rotation? So I think another guy will probably be either a Spencer Getty or a Hayden Wozniacki.
Yeah, you never know what he can even be a reliever too.
Yeah.
Just because of all the injuries that he's dealt with, maybe an inning or 2 or 3 innings, kind of like playing that role of Christian Javier in the 2022 postseason, getting
But
that back end of it.
if that were to happen, the Astros have one of the most expensive bullpens in Major League Baseball.
Hey, I think as long as they're winning games, I think they don't
Yeah.
give a bleeping bleep. But
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing for the Astros though. When they get in that middle part of the season, they're gonna have depth. They could possibly go to a 6-man rotation. There's no way in hell you're going to 7-man. It's just 6-man, so don't think of the number 7. 6-man rotation could probably be more of a factor in that middle part of the season because of, like you were mentioning, innings pitch, fatigue, and some arms. And that's a benefit in the Astros. Luis Garcia, I'm pretty sure he's hungry to get back on that mound. There's going to be some dogs barking to get back on that mound. And I think that's a great thing for the Houston Astros.
absolutely.
Because let me tell you, if I didn't pitch over a year and a half, or 2 years, shit, I'm ready to pump 90. Ready to pump 90. But last 2 things on the Astros list. Astros signed a veteran per Brian McTaggart. Of course, we already had mentioned it. The Astros have agreed to a minor league deal with veteran infielder Luis Guillorme. That is another left-handed hitter the Astros will have in their lineup. I know that was a thing that Dana Brown and Joe Spada kind of wanted to add on some type of depth with the left-handed hitter. Well, they went and got Ben Gamel, and now they got Luis Guillorme. Like I had mentioned, he's almost a veteran in his 9th year going with Houston, but played 77 games last season with the Atlanta Braves, I believe with the New York Mets, and another team as well. And that slash line isn't pretty, but 205, 301, 273, no home runs, 10 RBIs, 23 walks, and 36 strikeouts. Angel, what do you think of this move? I know I've read just some of these offensive numbers, and they're not pretty damn strong, but they do add a veteran player to that clubhouse.
Yeah, I think it's just more of an insurance plan at this point. You don't never know how the season's going to unfold. Right now, it's said that because Joe Espada was asked about this, if Jose Altuve is in left field, Mauricio Dubon is going to play second base. However, what if there's an injury or Mauricio Dubon's going to take over right field or center field? It's just kind of an insurance plan to plug in Luis Guillorme, because Luis Guillorme can play all over the infield. Mm-hmm. He's played first base, second base, and third base. I don't think he's done shortstop in a while, but he can. So it's kind of an insurance policy there, just in case an injury happens, or maybe he gets hot and he makes the roster, which I don't see likely, or unless he wins the job over John Singleton. But again, at the end of the day, it's going to be an insurance plan.
Yeah, it's a minor league deal, so there's nothing yet on a major league contract for him. Just getting his foot in spring training and see if he can crack that MLB roster. Last but not least, real quick, Ben Gamel signs a 1-year major league contract with the Astros. In his 20 games with Houston, Gamel hit .259, 13 runs, 3 doubles, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, 11 walks with a .739 OPS. I know this was a topic of discussion for me and you of which veteran they would go get as a left-handed hitter. I know you were big on Jason Hayward. I had mentioned Ben Gamel, and sure enough, Astros went and got Ben Gamel. Padres went ahead and signed Jason Hayward, which I think Hayward's a great clubhouse presence, being that leader.
Yeah, I mean, again, insurance policy there too for Ben Gamel. They needed left-handed bat because I think besides Jordan Alvarez, everybody else was right-handed, if I'm not mistaken, besides Carantini, who's a switch hitter. Yeah, they're going to need some mix it up in there.
Most definitely. Carlos on the chat. Awesome show, y'all. We appreciate you. Like I said, let us know on these comments. Just comment what do you think of this season? Who's going to be that surprise player for you? Who's going to be that guy that you want to take a leap forward for your team? And, like I said, 26-man roster. Try to throw these bullpen arms because we don't know who's going to be what. We're predicting at this point, and we're just giving our best educated guesses like a hypothesis.
Yeah. And then speaking of more Astros news, I think Astros fans are kind of tired of the Alex Bregman saga, but it's still continuing. At this point, Alex Bregman is likely to sign with the Red Sox, Cubs, or Tigers. This is per Bob Nottingale on Sports Talk 610. Bregman to the Astros looks dead at this point. Like when Dana Brown said, the door is cracked, so it wasn't a for sure thing. Bob Nightingale also says that Astros offer may no longer be on the table. Cubs may be a leader in assigning Alex Bregman. Tigers have the most money to offer Alex Bregman. And Astros will place on left field regardless of the Bregman return. And that's kind of what we talked about in the last podcast. Yeah. I'm sorry, Altuve, sorry. And that's kind of what we talked about last time. It's like, it doesn't matter if Bregman's coming back. Altuve will see some time in left field. Yeah. What number of games, we don't know. But it's just to create some defensive flexibility to get more guys in there, especially since Jordan Alvarez is mostly going to be playing that DH spot because Joe Espada wants about 33 games for Joe Espada. I'm sorry, for Jordan Alvarez in the outfield. So it's just to create some flexibility there. But I think at this point, I expect the Astros is very unlikely.
I just don't see it happening anymore. It's just too much. It's prolonging it. Spring training's already here. There's just, if you're a Astros fan and you're hoping Alex Bregman comes back, well, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, I just don't see it happening. I'm throwing my strong opinion out there, and I don't think he's going to be back in the Astros uniform. Red Sox, Cubs, Tigers makes a lot of sense. Red Sox do need a third baseman if they want to go ahead and put Devers to first base or put him in the DH. And plus, he hits really well at Fenway. Shit. His numbers at Fenway Park is really remarkable. The Cubs is an interesting one because think about this. Isaac Paredes, all-star player this past season, got traded to the Cubs and was not that all-star player at Wrigley anymore. And you got to think about it too. The Windy City, Chi-Town, Wrigleyville, that could have played a factor pushing them balls in instead of out. Like I said, I think it's a perfect match made in heaven for the Astros and Paredes and Tigers. Man, I think Bregman in the Tigers uniform with that young ball club needing a leader in that clubhouse, that will work wonders.
Yeah, I think Tigers makes the most sense, honestly.
It does, but I mean, if it goes with the Red Sox, Red Sox, I think, have a great chance of playing really well in that division. I will say this. You had mentioned this, that the Astros offer may no longer be on the table. I've been trying to figure out left-handed hitters. We've already talked about Ben Gamble. We've already talked about Luis Guillorme. There's a left-handed hitting outfielder that's still there, that is still young, that can be then that one-year deal. I'm still strongly about it because I think he has that potential to get back on track, being that 281 hitter with some RBIs, with some contact that could give you some pop in that bottom part of the order. And that is Alex Verdugo. I'm still shocked that he's still a free agent.
Yeah, I think you're preaching to the choir there. I think we've both been big on Alex Verdugo this offseason, and I was surprised that they gave Gamble a contract before Alex Verdugo, honestly, just because he's younger. Really great outfielder, defensive-wise. I'm not saying Ben Gamble's bad either, but I just think Verdugo made a lot more sense.
Verdugo was a Gold Glove finalist last season.
Yeah.
So, he's already played left field. He hits really well in Minute Maid Park, too, not to just add on with that. But, I mean, I'm looking at the news, and everybody's like, Astros are fit for former Yankees and Red Sox free agent. Who else is that? Alex Verdugo. Free agent Alex Verdugo looking at a one-year prove-it deal and is looking at a rival team, which I was talking about the Yankees. And who's the rival team is the Astros. So, to me, it's kind of a head-scratcher. I don't know if it's because of the offer that's still on the table for Bregman or the Astros are just like, you know what? We're going to just say Jose Altuve in left field. We're going to put some Yordan Alvarez, some Zach DeZenzo. We're just going to play it like that and leave it how it is. To me, though, I mean, you've talked about being a right-handed heavy lineup. You only have one left-handed hitter there now with Alvarez. I'm shocked that they didn't go get a guy like Verdugo. Not like you were saying, not putting nothing down on Gamble, not putting nothing down on Trammell, not putting nothing down on Guillorme. But I think Verdugo is a younger player that can go back into that Boston form and do it over here in Houston. That's my opinion.
I think so too. I think we had this conversation off air too, where we kind of went a little bit more deep into that too. But I agree with you there.
Yeah, because it's honestly mind blowing that he's not signed yet. But then again, there's a bunch of other damn free agents that haven't signed. Nick Pivetta hasn't signed. Alex Bregman still hasn't signed. Pete Alonso just recently signed.
Oh, he did with the Mets, that's right.
Yeah, and then Jack Flaherty as well. So this cat and mouse game. I mean, I don't think Boris represents Verdugo, but like I said, in my opinion, if I wanted to give somebody a make or break deal, I'd give it to Verdugo. 10 million or whatever. Like I mentioned, I think I was going to predict like 10 to 12 million. I would give it to him, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. But speaking of, free agents, we've had Major League Baseball has had some free agents get signed already. Clayton Kershaw, I think that's a no-brainer. He signs with the Dodgers again. He's 32 strikeouts away from 3,000. It's honestly at this point it's kind of hard to see him as a starter. I think the Dodgers have a great starting rotation. I'm looking at Clayton Kershaw more like a reliever off the bullpen at this point of his career. Twins signed Ty France, first baseman Ty France. Angels signed Kenny Jansen. Angels been busy this offseason, signing a lot of veteran players. It'll be interesting how that team looks starting opening day. And then Brewers will wear a Bob Uecker patch for the entire season to honor the legendary broadcaster.
Which is rightfully so, and they should.
Absolutely. And then the Hall of Fame talk. I think this was a no-brainer either. Just giving you the what's up to date.
Official.
Yeah. So it's been officially noted that Ichiro Suzuki will go into the Hall of Fame as a Mariner. CC Sabathia will go as a Yankee. Billy Wagner as an Astro. Dick Allen as a Philly, and Dave Parker as the Pirate. So again, no surprises there. I think that's what everybody assumed was going to happen.
Yeah, Wagner, third Astro, get it. I'm glad the Astros decided to retire his number. Now, we've talked about this. Christian Walker is going to wear 8, but yeah, Wagner going to officially get his number retired and going to be up there with Biggio and Bagwell, and that's two of the biggest names. If you go check out our interview with him at TriStar, make sure you go check it out and go give it a like, subscribe, and all that type of stuff. But we, the media interviewed him, and he had mentioned more than like anything, Bagwell and Biggio were his closest teammates to help him out throughout the times he was in Houston.
Absolutely, the big three.
Yep. So Clayton Kershaw, 32 strikeouts from 3,000 though. That should be. It's insane though how the Dodgers have so much depth in that rotation. Have you seen it? It's almost like the Astros, like straight up.
Yeah. No. I saw a graphic the other day, and I was like, to me, it'll be hard to make Clayton Kershaw started with those names on there.
But that's like saying Justin Verlander going into a reliever with Houston.
I think they're different parts of their careers, though.
But Clayton Kershaw was pitching really well last season.
Yeah, but Justin Verlander could still pump 96, 97 down the strike zone.
He doesn't need that. He has that damn 12-6 curveball. Yeah. He had never mind. It was the season before. 2.46 ERA. 4.50 last year.
See, there you go. Bullpen.
But another guy you missed out, Kike Hernandez, is back with the Dodgers as well.
Oh, is he? I missed that one. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Kike's back with the Dodgers. I felt like that was going to be done regardless.
Yeah.
Him and Teoscar Hernandez fit really well over there.
Do you think it'll be an upset if the Dodgers don't win the World Series? Just because they're so strong.
It's not an upset. It's just, I mean, they're still going to have to compete.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the Giants are the most competitive team, but that damn division's still good. Yeah. Corbin Burns now in Arizona. They got Josh Naylor after losing Christian Walker. The Padres are still the Padres, even though they did lose out on Jerks and Profar. So the division's still stacked. Of course, you got to think about the East with Lindor and Soto and Alonso now, and with the Mets and the Phillies, the Braves. There's still some competitive teams over there in the NL.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I agree with you there.
So yeah, it's too close to tell. We'll have them predictions more than likely getting closer to opening day, like we did last year. Which they were dog shit as well.
They were bad. Hopefully we're a lot more accurate this time.
Yep. But 56 minutes is in and done. Episode 237 is done. 11:30, 8 p.m. Central Time. This episode has ended. We appreciate y'all taking this time. If you haven't followed us on our social media platforms, Angel, I think I already had mentioned it. You want to mention it real quick, where they can see us, where they can follow us, hit that, all that other stuff, and what we got going next?
Yeah, if you haven't been looking at our screen and just hearing, playing video games while you're listening to us, you can follow us on the banner up ahead at X, TikTok, YouTube. That's Full Steam Ahead. You can follow us on Instagram, FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast.
And be ready for Thursday, Friday. I think Travis Scott has that HBCU baseball tournament during this weekend.
Yeah,
2
Full
weeks
Steam
from
Ahead
now,
will be there.
yes, we will be there. The Astros College Classic will be in 2 weeks as well. Some very competitive teams, including the World Series games from last year with Tennessee, A&M, Arizona's another team, Rice is another team. A lot of great college baseball if you want to go check it out, I would say, because college baseball season, I believe, starts next Friday or this Friday.
Exciting. I think softball's about to start too.
Yeah, so make sure you get your tickets to that. But like Angel had mentioned, we will be there for that softball game. Get some good interviews, get some good content. Sorry about that. Like Angel was mentioning, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're following us. Then you won't miss these videos, these interviews. A lot of this stuff coming this season. A lot of player interviews we're going to try to set up. We're going to do some fun content. I cannot talk right now, bro. I just cannot talk. That just means to sign off. Until then, y'all have a great week, blessed week. If there's some big Astro news comes up again, we'll make sure to break it down. But until then, y'all stay safe, have a great week, and see y'all soon.
Peace.